Hello, everyone, and welcome to MegoMuseum's Mint Off Card. My name is Brian, and this week we have an entirely new company. It's not necessarily a new contender in the field. They've been around a while, but it's the first time that something that they have made I have purchased. And I am talking, of course, about Beast Kingdom, and they have a line, and I'm going to struggle with the way to pronounce this, 8ction figures, which is a clever way of saying, Mego style retro figures, 8 inches taller, thereabouts. I remember after I did my 2022 wrap up, my friend Matt kind of called me to the carpet, so to speak, and said, "You didn't mention Beast Kingdom this year." And they did a wonderful Dark Knight set. And, well, I'm not really that big a fan of the Dark Knight. Don't kill me. So I didn't pick that up, so I really wasn't sure. And I looked at their output, and there was a lot of stuff that, looked real neat, but I wasn't sure I wanted to spend the money on. I mean, these are a bit pricey. And then they came up with the Peacemaker, and that was just the easiest purchase for me. The Suicide Squad is easily one of my favorite superhero movies of all time, and definitely top 3 DCEU films. I'm also just a sucker for weird superheroes, especially the Charlton heroes. And that even made me break my own rule of getting kind of modern movie interpretations of people. I rarely do that unless I really like the character or the actor. And in this case, John Cena has really done an amazing job with this character. He's given him layers. He's gone from being the heel in a movie to being the hero in a series, and that's pretty great. So let's take a look at the packaging. As you can see, it's very collector friendly. All you have to do is unseal the flaps, and you can pull out anything you want there and put it right back in, so that's nice. He does come with an amazing amount of stuff. He's got 2 heads that we'll get into later. His helmet, of course, an axe, a sword, a gun, which is, rare for DC product these days. And, of course, the dizzying array of hands. Oh, my goodness. When you turn it around the back, they've done this wonderful montage of the figure itself, utilizing the doves in a sort of John Woo-esque fashion, which I hardly approve. Some real thought went into this packaging. I love that it is officially the Suicide Squad branded. And I'll tell you, as expensive as these can get, the other one I would buy in this series is Bloodsport. I really loved the look of Bloodsport in that movie. So without further ado, let's rip the Peacemaker out of his plastic prison and see what this dynamic 8ction hero's body, or the DA, is all about, shall we? And I just want to do a quick reminder that if you are a fan of this channel, please consider checking out my store. We have a new issue of Toy Ventures launching next week. It is jam-packed with vintage toys, and I think it's something really special. First thing I want to mention about this figure is it's actually quite heavy. You know, if I threw this at you, it could really hurt, unlike a Mego figure. The second thing I want to mention is height-wise, yes, this is taller than the regular 8-inch Mego by about a head, and it is somewhere in between Super Joe Unlimited and a Mego figure, so it's kind of a little bit taller. Kind of works for a larger character like the Peacemaker, but if this was like Michael Keaton's Batman, it would look strange towering over the other figures, especially Superman. The body itself is actually kind of great. Joints aren't too stiff. They hold a pose. It is quite nice. Of course, there is this whole thing with the elbows and the fabric cloth. Some people might be put off by that. I'm not. I just accept that as part of the toy, and I, of course, like a little bit of clunk, so that doesn't bother me one bit. The outfit is very, very well made. This is really a quality item, and I'm not worried about touching it or breaking anything. The one downside is he doesn't seem to have a holster for the big, huge gun, but I understand how problematic that would have been in making the figure look slick at this scale. The two head sculpts are an unusual choice because they're just basically variations on the same thing. It's just two different expressions John Cena has. You know, I'm kind of glad there isn't like a screaming one, because that wouldn't have made a lot of sense. But I do kind of find it a curious choice. If I had to compare this figure to something, I would say this was very similar in construction to a NECA figure. However, it's much more durable and probably has a little bit more articulation. The feet are an interesting design. They are molded shoes. However, they do have a bit of a articulation in the toes. I guess that's for different kinds of posing. He also comes with a beautiful Suicide Squad stand that can hold him up. So you really get everything you need here, except for one thing, and that is Eagly. Eagly is not in the box. I understand that probably would have been very expensive. My solution for this, however, will be the Big Jim Eagle that was released in the 1970s. They're not that hard to find, and it would be a perfect companion for this figure. Let's go through the accessories because they're kind of fun. First, we have a broadsword, and again, we have that dove design that is apparent through the Peacemaker. I love this. I don't remember him using a broadsword, but he used so many weapons in the Suicide Squad, he probably had it for a few minutes. The next design is the hatchet or the axe, and again, they've done a lovely job of having this dove outline in the axe. And finally, we have the gun with its ridiculous scope and silencer. I love this. It's just absolutely fantastic, and it's also extremely cumbersome. As I mentioned in the intro, wow, he has got a lot of hands. This is almost too much choice for me. I know that sounds complainy, but I've never been that big a fan of having like way too many options because I think it overwhelms my brain. But you can salute, you can have him hold his weapons, you can have him have fists. So I do see the value in it. I'm probably going to have him hold his gun and put the rest of these fists in a drawer. They're not a lot of fun to change, but I didn't feel like I was ever going to break the figure either. So my final thoughts on this are pretty impressed. I have to say, this is a $90 action figure. I paid $89.99 for this, so this was a real shot in the dark. I always figured if I didn't like it, I could just sell it and, lose a few bucks. I have to say I'm impressed with this. This is a quality item, and I struggled to find any sort of flaw, and the only one I could really find is that it doesn't quite fit in with my Mego collection. But otherwise, if this company tackled another character from the Suicide Squad or got a license that I really particularly cared about, I would entertain picking up another one of these, absolutely. However, I will be picking my battles because, I could get probably 4 Megos for this cost or 3 NECA figures. So you really want to make sure that it's something you really want and no one else is going to make. So yeah, if you're a fan of the Peacemaker and you like, Mego style action figures, this is one to look out for. Do you have any Beast Kingdom figures? Are you planning on getting any? I'd love to know more. You can let me know in the comments below, on our Facebook group Megomania, or at the forums at MegoMuseum.com. No wrong way to do it, and I'd love to know your input. That's all the time I have for Mint Off Card this week, folks. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you're new to this, please consider hitting like and subscribe. We do this every week. If you're not new to this, thank you for watching to the end. That really helps out the channel. I'll be back this weekend with a major Mego mystery getting solved. Until next time, be well and buy what you like. Cheers.